Hey Spirit Tribe, Gigi here with Spirit Readings, and I'm so glad and so happy that you're able to join me here today. So this is going to be my second vlog. I was blown away by, all of the love and support from the first one, and I just wanted to take the time to say thank you and how much I love and appreciate all of you. So welcome to the second one. So this past week, my first marriage has come up so much, in therapy and in my conversations with my friends. And oh Lord, let's see, I was 22 when I met my first husband, and I believe I was 23 when we got married. So we had been together all of 10 months, when we got married. And I was working at a bank at the time that we met. I loved that job, you guys. That's one of those where I do wish I could have that one back. Not the man, the job. But anyway, I was more in love with the idea of love than I was with him. And it's not to say that I didn't love him, but I didn't really know him either. And what I did know and what I didn't like, I glossed over, because I could see potential in him. And I was ready for the fairy tale, you guys. I was in a space where I've got a good job, I've got a car, I'm ready to settle down and start my family. And my gut knew, you guys, that he was not the right person for me. But he was Mr. Right Now, not Mr. Right Forever. But I made that soul contract, you guys, and I went through that for a reason. And when I tell you that it is so vital and necessary to listen to your intuition, because that relationship almost destroyed me. And it would have if I hadn't have gotten out of it. And you live and you learn, and like I said, knowing that he wasn't right for me, but oh, he has potential, and he's asking for my help to be a better man and to change and grow. And until he wasn't, until he decided he no longer wanted to be with me as well, and he did. He had his battles with addictions, and, take off in my car, be gone 3 days a week, and when you're living with someone like that, even though you're not an addict, your behavior and your ability to show up to work, when they take off in your car, it makes you look like you're into something just as bad, And so, I got to the point in that relationship where every time it came to step out the door to leave, I would be so afraid and have so much anxiety. And that's something that I still struggle with today, you guys. You know, even though this happened back in 2005 to 2009, you know, it's still things that I'm working through or on through therapy, if I can get the wording out right. And, you know, because I dang near lost myself, you guys. Like, I was always a very outgoing, sociable. I'm a Leo, you know, Leo sun. So think of how bubbly and outgoing and everything, and made friends easy, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I went from being that and being very strong and independent to a doormat. And you know, my world then revolved around not making this man angry, or you know, walking on eggshells and not standing up for myself, because the few times I did, I got hurt really bad. And you know, don't want to be beat up all the time. So, and I know, you know, there are people, well, you could have got out. Yes. But when you don't think you can, and when you hold yourself prisoner, it's a whole different thing. And, you know, like I said, a lot of this is stuff that I am working on still to this day. And, you know, also trying to make small changes in my life, you know, my sleep schedule, and doing my chair yoga, and, you know, listening to my body, listening to my intuition, and, you know, really letting it lead and guide me. And you know, that I'm in a much better space. You know, I'm a lot happier. Do I have my days? Do I have my moments? Of course I do. I'm a work in progress for the rest of my life, you know? I mean, that's just how it is. So, you know, but giving myself space, giving myself grace, not being so hard on myself, not comparing myself to who I used to be or what I used to be able to do. For those of you that may just be joining now, I have had several strokes. So life is a little different, and sometimes a lot different. And you know, doing what I can do now, and trying not to compare myself, and not get, you know, aggravated with myself when I have trouble with my memory, or you know, the strokes hit the back side of my head here on this right side, so it is weakening the left side of my body. And so I do my chair yoga, you guys, to try to help with my strength and everything. And I use a cane when I go out and have to do things, and you know, just try to do the best that I can, you know, within, you know, sometimes it's 1 second at a time, you guys, when that's all I can handle. And learning to accept that, and learning to be okay with that, and, you know, all of that jazz, right? And still, you know, get up every day and try to catch myself before I go into the darkness of like the depression and the anxiety. And you know, learning to pick up on those, sometimes they're very subtle hints, you know, they're not always just screaming out, you know, as loud as can be. Sometimes it's as simple as how much I'm sleeping or not sleeping in some cases. So, but yeah, and when my marriage ended, I felt like a failure. I felt like I had failed. And it took me a while to realize that he had failed me, by, choosing, I'm saying choosing, that's probably not the best word, but it's the only word that's coming to mind right now. His addiction and refusing to get help for it, because I would get him to where, we would talk and agree that rehab was a good idea. And then we talked to his parents, I figured the more, like love and support, and their stance was very anti, oh, he doesn't need that. Okay, then you deal with him. But, I had to go through so much, and it was a really dark time because the year before even I had lost someone I was very close to, and been a lifelong friend, and I had lost a baby, and then the following February of 2009, like into January, first part of February, we went Splitsville, and then in 2008 I also met my biological father for the first time. So, there was a lot of things happening during this whole, time period, and towards the end of 2008, first part of 2009, I was praying so much to be delivered from that situation, you guys, and like fervently praying that a way would be made where I couldn't even see a way. And so into January, first part of February, my prayers were answered, and but I still had a lot of emotions, like, oh my God, my marriage is really over, I'm a failure, I failed, like, kind of junk to work through. And then my the man I called my dad, he was my first stepdad, and he raised me from the time I was like 4. Well, his mom, my grandma, passed away towards the end of February, and I wasn't able to go to her funeral, and I didn't want to show up all bruised and everything. Like, I was still healing physically as well as emotionally and mentally, so I didn't go. And so the relationship between me and my dad and my aunt suffered, to say the least. And then that November, my mom's mom, my grandma, passed, that I was very, very close to, and I, for about the next year or so, was really, really in a dark space. Like, I didn't want to kill anything like that in my life or anything like that, but I just didn't care. And if it happened, I was just like, good, I'm ready. But but then I had a fear of death, not like I fear going to hell or anything like that, but just like I didn't want to die. I had that fear come up, and I think things happen for a reason, of course. So one of the times, because during all of this, you know, my ex-husband was like, we should get back together, you know, I'm not sure I want to be married again, but I would like you to be my live-in girlfriend, you know, my parents are on board with it. And because, y'all, a week after we split up, he already had someone else moved in and went through several girlfriends during that time. I even had one of his girlfriends call me for advice because she was like, they just sing your praises, his mom and dad, and you know, all of this stuff. And I was like, girl, run. Like, if you have to call his ex-wife for advice, run. You know, like, do not hesitate. But anyway, you know, and I was asleep and dreaming. At my mom's house, my grandma had a room, so, you know, I was sleeping in her room, like in her bed, and she had these wind chimes hanging up, like, close to the closet, and they're frogs, because she collected frogs before she passed away. And I was dreaming, and, you know, in this dream, I was like going back to him. I know. And all of a sudden, my grandma was just in the dream, you guys. You know, this is after she has already passed. And she was like, oh no, you ain't, and slapped me. And when I tell you, I sat up out of bed and I had a red mark, like I woke up holding my cheek, and over in the corner, the wind chimes were tinkling. So my grandma's like, I don't like this dream. I don't like where it's going. You ain't going back. And literally a wake-up call, you guys. Like, you know, he has not changed. You know, he's still, you know, entertaining, you know, and playing with my emotions and stringing me along. And I was like, you know what, I've had enough. And you know, I told him I didn't want to hear from him anymore. And then probably we'll say 3 to 6 months later, he messages me and is like, I ended up getting herpes from one of the chicks, and I was like, you know, that's your own problem, that's your own mess, karma, and please delete my number. Like, I had already deleted his, like, after I told him, and I was like, delete my number. And, you know, then I went ahead and just blocked his number. Like, I think someone had to show me how to do that, because I'm not very good with technology most of the time. So you know, it's just things that we allow sometimes, and things that we open ourselves up to that we should not, you know. And it took me a while to finally, because, you know, I let myself go through all of the healing. You know, I did the work. Like, I hurt and I hurt and I hurt, and I worked on healing. And it was a very slow process for me, but he just threw himself into relationship after relationship and didn't work on it. And then after I was already healed, that's when his healing process began. And you know, when I finally put my foot down and put my strong, healthy boundaries in place. So, you know, learning to deal, learning to cope, learning to accept things and people for who and what they are, and, you know, not gloss over the details anymore has been a big thing for me as well, you guys. And, you know, learning to guard and protect my heart and my mental health, my spiritual health, you know. And if it costs me my happiness or my peace, it's too high a price to pay, and I'm not paying it, and I don't care who you are, I will cut you out, you know, and choose not to be around you, you know, setting myself up for victory instead of letting myself be drained and then feeling like a failure, you know, like, no, I'm not doing it no more. So, you know, if you find that you're in a similar position, you know that you're not alone, you guys. Know that you can heal and that you can have a better life, a better future. And when you realize that you hold the pen, that you are a co-creator, that you are a master of your destiny, and if there's something you don't like, you have the power to change it. You have the power to rewrite your story. You know, you can't go back and change what's already been written on the page or set in stone, but you can go and make you some notes. You know, I ain't gonna allow this no more. You know, this is an area I need to work on for my highest and greatest good. And, you know, things can turn around, you guys. You know, I've seen way too many miracles. I've seen things work out in ways I didn't even know were possible. To not believe, to not trust, and life's just gonna keep getting better from here. It onward and upward, you guys, right? So, all right, you all. I just want to say how proud of you I am. You know, for overcoming things, for, you know, handling things and getting back up when things knock you down, and for just being who you are right here, right now, in this moment. I am proud of you. And if you are struggling in any area, I'm sending a little extra love and light your way, and belief in you. That you can do whatever it is you set your hand, heart, and mind to, and you will be successful. You will be victorious. You will see turnarounds and, you know, things just coming towards you from multiple sources on a continuous basis for your highest and greatest good. And you guys just know from the bottom of my heart, I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. And I want to say thank you, blessed be, namaste, and goodbye.